Hello everybody, so my name's Helen Heary. I am the chair of the trustees of the Sarah's Rural Library Fund. This is a charity that we set up 8 years ago in memory of my sister Sarah. She was head librarian at Christian Aid, and during her time she visited Peru and she came back inspired by this fantastic organisation she'd come across called the Bibliotecas Rurales de Cajamarca, or the Rural Libraries of Cajamarca State in northern Peru. So what is the challenge? Well, it's the Andes, they're very high mountains. People live between 2,000 and 4,000 metres of altitude. The state of Cajamarca is the poorest state in Peru. 55% of people live on £2 or less a day, and 19% of people live on about £1 or less a day. The area is very remote. You can see little houses dotted around. They are the houses of the subsistence farmers. They live in very isolated communities. They grow corn, potatoes, they have a few animals, and of course everybody's got their guinea pig house, loads of guinea pigs in. They live in adobe brick houses. They don't have any running water, no heating, limited electricity, no plumbing. But they do manage to send their children to school. They go for 2 or 3 years, and they often then have to come back to work on the farms. Generally in Peru the education isn't great. A couple of years ago they came second to bottom in one of the world ranking scales. So what's this fantastic organisation? Well, it's the Red de Bibliotecas Rurales. That means a network of rural libraries. It's a community organisation that was set up 46 years ago by an English priest. It is not libraries as you and I know it. It's a shelf in somebody's house. And it's the core people who run it are the coordinators, the library coordinators. This man is called Jose Isabel. He's been a coordinator for 30 years, and every 3 months he puts books in his backpack and he walks between his libraries. It could be taking 2 hours or 2 days, and he exchanges the books between his libraries, but he also exchanges news and information. These the librarians, and there's 500 of them, but it's not just individuals, it's the whole family who are usually the librarians. They are there when the readers come along. They're registered readers, and there's 74,000 of them. And they borrow a book, a couple at a time, they take them home, and then they read in reading circles with their families to some of the members of especially the elders who are often illiterate, hence the listening readers. But the most amazing thing is that all these people are volunteers. So I was actually standing here 6 years ago, and what have we done? I'll just give you a small flavour of what we've done. They have published 20 new books. That means in a total they've got 150 publications of their own that they have published according to what the community have asked. Here are some pictures of some women librarians. They are part of the 10 new libraries that have just opened in a neighbouring state, and what's really interesting about them is some of those women are illiterate, but they recognise the value of a library in their community. Another new development is there are 10 schools now with new libraries. That's just happened in the past couple of years. This is huge because traditionally the teachers and the government haven't allowed these books in schools, because they're not written in pure Spanish and they have indigenous content, and there's a lot of racism in Peru towards the indigenous people. And for those people who were here 6 years ago, you'd be pleased to hear that there has been an end to the planned expansion of the world's second biggest gold mine, which is right in the heart of Cajamarca State. So here's some of the readers that we met at one of the schools. These readers particularly like the traditional tales, and these are stories that the elders have spoken, they've been recorded, they've been written down, they've been taken to the town, they've been published and then returned to the community so that the children can then read them back to their grandparents. It's not just children, all ages love the books. Some of the older members, they really appreciate the books on how to make stuff. So Jose Isabel in the middle, he was very interested in how to develop his farm. He's learned how to keep bees with the help of the book. And this is Maxima Acuna. She won the Goldman International Environmental Prize 2 years ago for standing up against the gold mine. She's illiterate, but she's benefited from some of the books about social justice. And Nancy, she has benefited throughout her life because her father was a librarian. She's managed to finish her schooling, go away, come back, and she's now been chosen to be a community librarian. And you can see what she says about the libraries and how important it is for the community. So, how can you help? Well, all the money we raise here, we're all volunteers for Sarah's Rural Library Fund. We raise money here and we send it over to them because they know exactly what they're doing with it. £6,000 will let us fund the work for half a year. And to give you a bit of a flavour of what things cost, it's £500 to print 1,000 copies of new books. They get them printed in the local, in the main town. It costs about £100 to supply the books for a new school library. And right now we are trying to raise money to help them print these notebooks that you can see. They're really small notebooks that people can take into the fields. You can ask me a bit more about that later.